So here's one of the last lists we'll be showing you. Yes, he's a little bit lower, but it's okay. He did the best of all the orc players at this event. And it's a lot of games, as you can see here. So very, very competitive, deep pool. And his list was different. So let's look at his list. Another Meganobz making an appearance again. And I wanted to show you guys that because we talked about Meganobz several times. Are they going to make it in here? Our kill rig's going to make it? What's going to happen? Our beast snag is going to control the whole meta. They are the forefront of the meta, but they're not the whole meta. So we have Big Mek in Mega Armour with Super Cyborg Body, followed by another Big Mek in Mega Armour, followed by another Big Mek in Mega Armour. So that's triple Big Meks and Mega Armour. Of course, you still got Mazrog because having Mazrog just for his durability and utility is amazing. And then Nabon Smashes Squig. I think I would run, just saying off the bat, maybe I'm biased. This is similar to what I would run if I started to incorporate Meganobz, but I wouldn't use as many Meganobz and Mega Armour, Big Meks and Mega Armour in my opinion. But I do like having at least one unit of Nabon Smashes Squig with the big unit, Mazrog, War Boss, and a couple, maybe two different kind of War Boss for Meganobz kept units. Follow me, lads, of course, because you need that. When that Nob unit comes out, guys, we call that the scalpel unit around here, okay? We've been calling it that since the beginning of the edition. When the Nobs and the War Boss come out to play, it's time to do work. You need to reliably get into combat and deliver that big high volume -2 AP damage attacks. If you're bringing out the Nobs, it's because you have a problematic unit that you need to get rid of. And a lot of the time, it does end up being an Armor of Contempt type unit that has a base 2 up save, or just a unit you really need to kill with high volume because of whatever problem it is. So you see people still willing to pay for that premium of Follow Me, lads. That's why when the data slate, the points got decreased, it was helpful to that unit. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks, and another interesting tech piece. 2, not 1, but 2 big units of Burner Boys. So Burner Boys are making their way. You see people trying to move block you. They get these annoying, maybe little like Lictor type characters, and you get close to them. You know, I'm just going to flame you and hold my spot or something. Get rid of some other enemy units, pedally units that are in your way. You don't want to disembark and fight them and then get shot away. Just get rid of them with your flamers while you're in the truck. I really like to see that. Here are the units of Meganobz. Boom. We got 1 kill saw and the combi weapon. Most likely because the Big Mek allows you to reroll 1, so he was maybe looking for some death wounds or something from that shooting coming from there. And then we have the big unit of Nobs, what I call a scalpel unit, followed by 1 brick of Squig Hog Boys. So this is similar to what I would run, probably -1 big unit of Meganobz, -1 of those big characters. And I was never considering, to be honest, running 2 big units of Burner Boys. And he went over the top and decided I'm using a custom Mega Blaster. I prefer the Rocket because I don't need him dying. But hey, he wants the volume and doesn't care. Love to see it. So this was another flavorful, interesting list, but let's look at some of his matchups because he has plenty of them. All right. Cody Day. Going into Dark Brandon. So we have Abaddon the Deployer, the Dark Commune, followed by Cultist, Rhino, Cultist, Accursed Cultist, sorry. What is this, a big unit? Yeah. Then we got Chaos Terminators, a small unit. Chosen. Okay, I see you, Chosen. Forge Fiend, another Forge Fiend. Obliterators, Warp Talons. Okay, Warp Talons. Warp Talons for 100 points are actually acceptable cost. Not terrible, but acceptable cost, okay? Obliterators, if you guys all know, and they have the Mark of Nurgle, so they can't be shot reliably. And then they have their once per game they can indirect. Very good volume of attacks. Abaddon helps make these Forge Fiends reliable, and their Mark of Nurgle too. So this guy's pretty much kitted out, and he has Khorne, the Chosen, so that he can get more reliable Khorne fighting, possibly fighting death. A Terminator Squad, Undivided, of course. Just 1 Rhino. And then a Mom, the Dark Commune. Okay, and Abaddon. Abaddon is just helping Chaos Marines become a very, very reliable gun line shooting platform. Either way, Cody put 96 points up. I believe that unit just doesn't have enough threats to keep orcs off them once they close the distance. And even, you know, Abaddon's a beat stick himself, but when you kill everything else in the army, they're just going to kind of fall away. So I can see how he ended up winning that game, but good job either way. We have Tau. Now we have Commander Farsight, Commander Shadow Sun, Commander in Cold Star Battlesuit, Commander in Cold Star Battlesuit. Breacher team. 2 units of Devilfish, a big unit of Crisis Suits, another large unit of Crisis Suits, 2 units of Crew Hounds, 3 Piranhas, excuse me, and 2 units of Stealth Suits, followed by 2 units of Tetra. Okay, so this is a very common. You got the Stealth Suits to infiltrate. You got the Piranhas just for 55 points of just little gun platforms, really great. Crew Hounds to move around. He got a lot of pieces to play the board. The big units of Crisis Battle Suits for doing damage. The Devilfish, little dudes to go in the transports. So overall, this is a very, what is known to be a competitive Tau list, right? And this was actually one of the reasons why I was assuming Meganobz might matter, because you're going to getting so much more of these gun units that are looking around for your small targets, cut angles on them, and get rid of them as they can. to stop you from actually being able to play the game and killing you too quickly at range before you close the distance, and then they have to deal with your entire army. They want to selectively run around the table and end up shooting at you. And as we see, he has all this pretty much anti-shooting units, with Meganobz having great armor save, with this only one unit to smash the squigs that he can end up squig hog boys that he can end up making hard as nails or just hide them as he can. And then he has transports, which means you have to pop these annoying transports. Then you have to actually get line of sight to actually shoot those guys. And then so as a whole, not that I'm saying I predict these things, but that was actually one of the reasons why I did assume we have a chance at favoring Meganobz nowadays. And that's why I really like to see that he did so great into Tau. I wouldn't know if it's just because of that, but that's one thing I'm hoping and I'm assuming. As I would like to see Meganobz just become more viable as a whole. That's why I hope it. Now we look at his third game. This is a game he did end up losing, but let's see what he lost to. So, Imperial Knights. So, as we said before, technically, orcs don't always have a bad matchup into this. We did at the beginning of the edition. If you're bringing all beast snaggers, sure, you can just wound it great, run it down, be fast enough, everything like that. On the other hand, if you're bringing kill saws, but you're not bringing, right, if we look at his Meganobz, if you're not bringing the twin kill saws for re-rolling wounds, now when you go into knights, you don't have as much reliable damage anymore. You are kind of lacking, because we had redundancy on the other list. If he had a beast boss and Squigosaur, we had Mazrog, and we had multiple units of Squig Hog Boys that are bricks. Each one of those bricks can tear one down, such like that. On this list, he could choose to kill the Squig Hog Boys as he could, and then the Meganobz, there's a chance that he could just take the damage from them, because they're only low amount of attacks, and they're low damage relevantly for the amount of attacks they get. So you can see he ended up kind of taking that win on against that unit. And I can see in response to why this army ends up having the AP and the multi-damage firepower that you would need. Of course, he has these couple of assassins that maybe helped him play the mission, inquisitorial henchmen. But as a whole, that's on the opposite side of that spectrum, right? If you're talking about small arms fire from Tau, maybe Leagues of Voltan to an extent, Meganobz are becoming interesting. Oh, okay, I can start taking more armor saves. Maybe Space Marines, as they start to change their detachments. Okay, I get better armor saves. You're trying to kill my small scoring units. I can counter that by being in trucks and then having a great armor save outside of it with a decent toughness. Yes, until you start going into maybe Imperial Knights, where they're built to have great anti-tank weapons, multi-damage weapons, and your Meganobz can't reliably tear them down in response, especially if you don't have the twin kill saws. But even then, you don't really get enough attacks unless it's a Waaagh. So as a whole, it's interesting how that becomes a challenging matchup. Now let's go into his fourth game. His fourth game was a mirror match into orcs. And this is what we're talking about as a opposite spectrum orc kind of meta list. So we have a beast boss. Love my beast boss. Captain Badrug, Mazrog Cragbag, War Boss, 3 units of Beast Snaggle Boys, 3 trucks, Flash Skit, 2 units of Gretchen, 1 unit of Knobs with Power Claws, 1 big unit of Squig Hog Boys, followed by 2 small units, followed by 2 units of Storm Boys. This is a very similar list to what I would run. This actually looks like the kind of list I did run actually at the event. At the GT I went to, besides so many Beast Snaggle Boys. Brad Chester runs something similar to this sometimes. This is what would be considered a very kind of common meta list, and he put up 97 points into that. Interestingly enough, Meganobz are pretty durable into orcs as well, especially when you're not talking about the Squig Hog Boys with their high volume attack, but you can get them hard as nails, have a great armor saves, and then over time you do erode them too. And you still have the trucks, you still have similar kind of units that you can kind of exchange and fight with. So interesting that Cody Dake, also the commander matters too, right? It's not just, ooh, look at, he countered him with his list. There very much was some commander, generalship in that game that ended up mattering a lot. But great job to Cody for taking out that orc mirror matchup. Always a chaotic game. Here's his 5th matchup. I believe he did lose this one as well. Interestingly enough, more knight. So we have the Stalker, Brigand. Ugh. Yeah, all these meltas would be an issue for the trucks and the Meganobz once they start falling out. Then we get War Dog Huntsman, 3 carnivores, 3 units of Nurglings, and the Blue Scribe. So even potential to move block and kind of get in the way with an infiltration on this list, on top of the redundancy and melta shots and volume. You get to the little knights, you might not even kill them reliably if you have a diminished Meganobz unit, and they actually play the mission moderately well with how much OC they have and how many small units of knights they have. So yeah, he did end up losing that one. 68-point game, still a solid game, but he did end up dropping it. But after that, he made his comeback with a 100-point game into Custodes. So right here we got sad Custode noises, and there were sad after this game as well. So we have the Blade Champion, Trajan Velotis, 1 unit of Guardians, 2 units of the Grab Things, very reliable, very annoying, but good units overall. 2 units of Wardens, 2 units of the Venatari with the Lances. I think 1 is sufficient, but whatever, because they just get that rapid ingress 1 for free. So it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna I guess we'll just do that. I like Terminators a little more than 2 units of Witch Seekers. So yeah, you run out of points real quick, and you can't kind of make these diamond bricks that are unkillable anymore. So Custodes are not as scary into Orcs, and Orcs did handle that, having the Meganobz making them take 4 up armor saves. And surprisingly enough, a unit of Guardians, when you put Artist Nails on the Meganobz, roll that out. They don't just one-shot the Meganobz unit, because the Meganobz end up getting moderately good saves. Plus, you have other Orc units on that list that are still going to be able to fight, deliver damage, and tank it, like the Squig Hog boys, and then you have the Knobs to run in and fight on death with Follow Me Lads. So that, interestingly enough, becomes a hard game for him. Him being the Custodes player, because it was a 100-point loss. Now, in his last matchup, he went... This is not the last matchup, I don't believe. Sorry, I still had some of the other lists up today. Getting rid of these. His last matchup was Gabriel. Oh, it actually is Custodes again, but this time it's 2. So this time it's 2 Blade Champions in Trajan Velotis, followed by 2 Grab Tanks again, 2 Wardens, 3 Wardens this time, a unit of Sagittarum. These guys are the guys with the guns. Witch Seekers, and then Inquisitor Greyfax. Greyfax is fine. I still think Kotiaz is even better. So yeah, as you can see here, Blade Champion is just excellent with his data sheet profile, and the Wardens are great with they can pop turn 1 for a 1 phase for a Feel No Pain, to stack that with all the other durability traits. So I can see why it's a little bit of a harder win, but the same thing's going the same way. You are kind of eroding them with a certain amount of damage. And you just have so many units that are now making them take 4 up invuln saves, essentially. They start getting killed and kind of pulled away and torn down. So great job to Cody Drake.